Hey guys, would you like to better yourselves? Well, today we're continuing our venture into embodiment, personal development, of course, with Aldo Borromei. We'll be making this a full wrap of everything we've worked on so far and up until this point. So see it as like a train stopping by a station, doing some onboarding. It's a great spot for you to come on in and join us as like a point of entry. So I'll get into specific things in like pretty much every step of the way. Aldo will give a brief description or a brief explanation for those. We're going to do a little pre and post ramble, and we'll just go ahead and get right to that with the man himself right now. And just know, as always, all materials will be on the website linked below. Aldo?
Thanks, Rob, for the introduction. This is kind of a postscript. We're going to be talking about beholding art as personal development, of course, and expressional learning methods. They are one and the same educational synthesis. As we move into the semantic awareness area of our nascent informative paradigm shift, it seems appropriate to mention some of the guiding premises that underlie and define our expressional, linguistic, and conceptual protocols.
Hey Aldo, what's nascent?
Nascent means it's new, it's being born.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
The first premise states that conscious expressions and conscious experiences occur simultaneously in the human organism, our first-person organism. It's the organism as a whole in an environment. The disastrous dictums that split mind from body found throughout scientific and metaphysical literature are replaced by a more realistic approach to educating human beings about themselves. Our second premise states that the human capacity to abstract has over time become subliminal, that is, below the level of awareness. Becoming conscious of abstracting, a very powerful semantic tool when applied to viewing non-representational, abstract art, new and sentient meaning-making emerges. This feeling art, feeling words, feeling ideas is restored, while new, sentient meaning-making continues. All words are maps, especially those so-called abstract concepts so drenched in sentient feeling-making. Maps are not the territory and do not cover all of the territory. There is ample supporting evidence that abstract concepts, that is, deep subjective experiences, are expressed as well. Consider the feeling aspects of mere words like justice, freedom, cooperation, fidelity, just to name a few. Such is the semantic awareness of feelings as expressional experiences felt in our own bodies. Remembrances, memory traces of unexpressed feelings of a lifetime are known to be embodied. Isn't it ironic that formerly unwanted, disowned, and repressed feelings, locked in counter pulsations, can finally find expression in real time, beneficiaries of our ongoing personal development?
Thank you, Aldo. Thank you. And yeah, it's kind of a quick, integration of synthesis, explaining a lot of what we've gone through and up until this point. And now, we have this. Let's call it are we calling it a worksheet?
It's a handout.
Monograph, you had called it. What exactly is a monograph? This will be on the website.
A monograph sometimes is an explanation of a particular type or specific education, and Perfect. It's written in a way that explains all the possibilities within the context of whatever the title may be.
Which is exactly what we're doing. We're kind of explaining all the different facets of what we've gone into with art and beholding art as personal development. So really, I'll just open with that. Why, does it matter? Like, we're challenging one of the biggest assumptions kind of about learning, right?
Yes.
From like taking facts and stuff from the physical world.
Yes.
And we're actually using art and music, different mediums, literature, to appreciate. But what's the other half of that story, or in a brief words?
Well,
for people who are new here,
in a few words, we actually co-create when we're reading a book. We make pictures, We put it together in a particular way. We're co-creating it, just like we co-create the meaning of words as they're given to us.
It's funny, real quick, while you mentioned that, like if I've ever seen a movie before I read the books, which has actually been most of those books that have been made into movies, like I've always seen the movie or show first. So it does take away that aspect of like what I already have the character. I know it's this actor or actress, but when I don't know, obviously, then I really get to co-create, like you're saying.
But nothing compares, right?
Nothing compares.
You created it.
Right.
It has your stamp of authority on it.
Yeah.
That's what expressional learning is about.
That's good. We had spoke about literature, like you were saying, like what's the interface with music or abstract art, which is one, both of your really big experiences that you bring to the channel and you bring to us.
My background is improvisational music. I was a jazz player, and that is spontaneous creativity. That has to be done. That has to be done in one's awareness. I'm speaking from a performer's point of view. The person who's listening to music doesn't have to do anything. It's automatically being abstracted as a feeling. That is the proof that there's no space between music and a person's interpretive capacity. They don't have to interpret anything. Their feelings will do it for them. That's what music does to one.
Like how you had said in this document, of course, like a child, and nobody teaches them how to feel a lullaby.
That's right.
So, same idea. That's nothing that can be taught. Music shows us something different when it comes to, expressional learning.
And it's been called the most abstract of all the arts, almost as abstract as mathematics. I would say even more so.
Yeah, I mean, and the feeling arrives before the explanation, right?
That is correct.
Meaning isn't added afterwards. It's happening. It's already happening and in the moment.
I'll tell you why I use abstract art, and especially non-representational art, because it confronts the viewer with something they don't know anything about. So they have to, with their own conscious capacity to abstract, take a little piece of it at a time, see what it is. We have many examples of that in our previous papers. We abstract. That's how we learn.
What does it mean, Aldo? I know it's something we've really gone through quite a bit here. And is meaning is embodied, or embodiment in general? What do you mean by that? This changes what learning means. Learning isn't only intellectual.
Well, it's not only intellectual. That is the major point. Yeah. That sentient beings feel. That feeling is what the abstracting process that's going on in their, let's call it mind with quotes around it, because as you know, I don't believe in a split between mind and body.
Right.
So the organism abstracts. It does so in so many ways. We're unconscious of most of it. It abstracts. You're tired, go to sleep. You have a fever, you must have, But when we bring it into consciousness, we frequently leave out the feeling part. So where has it disappeared? It's disappeared somewhere into not knowing that we abstract. So the capacity to abstract is the capacity to be sentient, to have feeling with what you're talking about.
So education needs another dimension. That is another dimension to it, by cultivating that awareness.
Yes. In my original paper, when I was a student at Binghamton University, I wrote a paper on experiential learning, and I thought that it would be significant to have an expressional part because I experienced expressional learning through music. Mm-hmm. So that was the seed of this whole approach to education through expression, and how we do create. When we read a book, we co-create. When you listen to music, you're co-creating. When it comes to reading, you're making pictures. Okay, so how do you make meaning about these, I'll call them abstractions because that's what they are, and people think that it's not abstract, but in fact, abstracting is going on all the time. Yeah. When I say freedom, how does freedom feel? Tell me, you can talk about it forever. Well, you're not a slave, you're not this, you're not that. But how does it feel to be free? I think that freedom is a significant human process. It's part of our animism, you know.
Yeah.
So getting back to feeling and how language can distort it or make it more clear is what we're doing here. This is our point of departure.
Embodiment as a learning endeavor, really.
That's
Stress
it.
it enough.
We're saying experience our protocols, and you will convince yourself that you're either making meaning or not.
Protocols, it's a abrasive word in my mind for whatever reason sometimes. So what's another way to put that, soften it up for myself and viewers potentially here?
A protocol is an exercise.
Right, okay.
We do an exercise called sentence completion.
Yeah.
When you complete a sentence, we give you a stem of a sentence. When you complete it, you make certain discoveries about yourself. It may be delayed, but you said something about yourself and it questions, what am I feeling?
We covered that before.
We've covered that.
And that's something, again, like with us just kind of briefly going over a lot of these things that we had already really delved into. You can go back and check it out. Of course, we'll be circling back and doing other examples of this probably in the future. But yeah, that is all still available to you and has already been done in some capacity.
This is our most casual exchange because we're moving from one portion of our educational process to the next, and the next I'll speak about, and that's what's going to be our continuing education. Will be about semantic awareness.
Very good, and we'll get into that as we get towards the end of this. But again, just recapping through everything, Aldo, that we've discussed here on the channel, and just a lot of this embodiment endeavor that we've been going into. So we have language, we have art, music, conversation, culture, and really the internal world. That's the external. We have the internal world, just imagination, sensory, inner dialogue that we have within ourselves. These exercises, how does that help with like reflection? You mentioned sentence completion. Why is that structured exercise matter so much?
The best way I can explain this, and everybody knows, I think every student knows when they say, what is psychology? They know that we repress feelings. But those feelings are still alive. Mm-hmm. They don't go away. Mm. Okay, so where are they kept? The idea of memory being just in the brain has been disputed by every expert known. So there are continuing examples that may or may not be correct. There are mirror neurons to be discussed. There is so much information going on, yet we don't know where is that information. All of the radix information about the human body and how we actually hold emotions in our body, those negative emotions that turn into repressions, that turn into blocked feelings and so on. We give you an example, an actual physical example of how we contain meaning right within our body. Conscious meaning that we make unconscious by holding patterns in our breathing. Okay? So, when we talk about, I talk about the ego being more than just some kind of psychological manufactured idea. I'm giving you a way of how it's actually done in the body. I've given examples of how children hold their breath, and there's little cartoons that show it. So let's find out what we're holding in our body. That's what this education is about. These things remain silent to you until you express them.
And that will go right into what we had talked about fairly recently in antithetical pairs of emotions. And another important idea that is that emotions rarely exist alone, like love and anger, fear and trust. Recap on that again, because it hit home so much for myself.
Okay, why are they called antithetical feelings? Because that's the way of explaining and putting them into a category that is not opposite. They're not opposite feelings, because you can block a feeling. When you block that feeling, what you actually do is distort it to keep it out of your consciousness.
So what, like tandem feelings you could call it?
Well, if
Or-
you want to use the word
Yeah,
tandem, and
I
that
guess-
makes it a little easier, but antithetical is really the word.
Okay.
So if one has to look it up, they're going to have to look up this word, because antithetical feelings happen in this way. The body pulsates. In that pulsation, if it is a clear pulsation with no blocks, love is the really love that you can't deny. If you block that in any way, your if you block anger in a particular way, the antithetical feelings, you will block your capacity to love. So the more you block your love for someone, or someone who blocks their love toward you, and you get to know it, they will be angry. So antithetical pairs of feelings work that way. If your feelings of trust, if you're not trusting of anything, examine what fear you've held. What fear you've held your breathing against.
It would make sense, yeah.
No, it does make sense. That's why they're antithetical. Now, the one that I like most that should apply to everyone, we're all longing for something. Longing is about our lives. What do we want in the future? If we block our longing, our capacity to fulfillment is also blocked. Doesn't one want to fulfill their existence? Stop blocking your longing. Get in touch with the longing that you may have blocked as a kid. I want to do this. I want to do that. No, Johnny, you can't do that. You have to do this because this is what's going to be good for you, blah, blah, blah. All the blah, blah, blah that we know is blocking process, blocking. So, yeah.
Disowned emotions don't disappear.
No, they don't.
Early on, one of our first things, you had recently finished up a few series in the abstract art realm, but you always stated art isn't simply just something to appreciate. It doesn't need a name for, obvious reasons. That takes away some of your individualizing a piece, especially with abstract art, where it's, a non-objective piece of work, but it's something for you to participate in. And I think that's literally art as personal development, and with these embodiment methods, that's really what we're about. Did you have anything to close out, pretty much in this? The goal isn't just becoming better at interpreting art. The goal is becoming better at interpreting ourselves.
I would say that I couldn't express that any better. Because this is about subjectivity. We are all subjects. We're our first person subject. We know ourselves. It's unfortunate that nobody can actually see this because it's invisible. You can't see what another person is feeling. You may be able to read a little body motion here and there, but the actual feeling is something that is subjective. It's other than you. But we are all doing this. Our subjective lives are what's being explored all the time, because our subjective lives have to do with our politics. They have to do with our spiritual existence. They have to do with how we make meaning of the world and how we make meaning of ourselves. So what is it that you need to get clear that is both body, mind, that is an organismic truth that once you experience it, you can never deny it? It's called knowing. It's possible to know something. Human beings know things.
We're no longer passive recipients of that.
Well, in a way, they're passive recipients of what everybody tells them to know.
Right, and that's what we're trying to break from.
Well, we have a knowing capacity is what I'm trying to say. That's called meaning making. It's a sentient experience. All artists want their, and mathematicians, they want to know that this is true. They have a scientific way of proving this, that, or the other thing, and sometimes that keeps changing. So what do you know about yourself that's been changing all the time? You're growing.
Yeah.
So,
but this is, reflective, philosophical style stuff that we've been developing here with Aldo. We have some pauses in between, as we kind of jump around through the content, but I think overall, as we continue to discuss, you'll really start to see how it shapes. It's shaping out, and the idea here is to stick around as we become more active participants in shaping our own lives.
Okay.
Okay.
The
So,
granddaddy of learning about yourself, and he coined the phrase "know thyself." We're talking about Socrates.
yeah.
Socrates is the man. He's the granddaddy. He gets everybody to express themselves, and they get to know themselves through their own expression. What do you mean? What do you mean? After a while, person gets stumped. That question is where their capacity to abstract has to come in. They're either going to be right about it, or they're going to be lying to themselves, or they're baffled to the point of wanting to understand themselves better. That is the philosopher to me. We are all wanting to make meaning of our lives. What else is there?
It's an innate, human
It is innate.
requirement. I'm every day, all day, that's we're looking.
Okay, so
searching for
this
that.
is so hard to get by various people. See, this meaning making happens to be, and sorry to go get winded, happens on a continuum of meaning making that at first you say, that's a good idea, and little by little, there's a shift that goes on. It's called an ideational shift. An idea shifts from just a mere, I wonder. Then the thing is, that must be true. And then suddenly it's like so true that everything else must be false. You've gone along your continuum to the point of dogma. Dogma's an ugly word to me. Dogma and dogmatic behavior is seen all over the world. Dogma currently is spilling blood in the Middle East. Period.
We're talking about abstracting and consciousness of abstracting. I know you mentioned before Michael Green, a master principle. I wanted to get into the prescript, I guess, for what we'll be working on next, as we just rounded out a good bit of what we've done here for the last several months with everybody. So let's get into semantic awareness and the evaluation of yourself in that.
Okay. As casual as this talk has been, I want to read what I'm calling a prescript, because this is a script of getting into the new...
This is back to where we're typically on the level that we're at, or especially Aldo here, because he's the gifted linguist of the group.
Yeah, so we've come to a fork in the road, and as Johnny Carson once said, we're going to take that fork. Okay, this paper here, I'm going to have to read this.
Go ahead.
I'm calling this Toward a System of Evaluation. This is a prescript. The very short, only 6-page monogram, let me start that again.
No problem.
Toward a System of Evaluation, this is a prescript. The very short, only 6-page monograph contained in this episode, the source of today's discussion, is linked to an online paper I recommended early on. It's a necessary reminder. It's called A Master Principle, Consciousness of Abstracting by Michael Green, and you can find it on his website. As a tool, consciousness of abstracting is a label for self-conscious, self-reflexive activity. It's something we do that we know we are doing. This involves using one instance of conscious awareness to modify, evaluate, critique, and refine other instances of awareness and its contents. Those contents are experiences, ideas, thoughts, beliefs, particularly important for proper human evaluation. Semantic awareness is a highly personal and detailed specific field of study, also a field of understanding that is highly ignored. It includes our internal responses to external verbal and visual influences, not to mention our own internal dialogue, which frequently has pictures, if you'll start to notice. Also, to emphatically mention how we speak to and dialogue with the outer world, other people. So, what is there to evaluate? In a word, or sarcastically, in a world, everything. Because regardless of the language, words as meanings exist in our internal and external environments, and we live in both environments. Our approach to becoming aware of verbal and visual signals from external and internal responses are what evoke necessary decision-making and important choices. A reliable system of evaluating is ultimately essential to personal development and communicational expertise. This is the direction we are taking, a direction guided by a consistent paradigm of meaning making. When it comes to the human linguistic nervous system, its functional structure operates in orders of abstracting and feeling reactions known as semantic responses. Becoming increasingly aware of this simultaneous experiential expressional phenomenon will be the purpose and focus of our continuing episodes.
Yes, so that's how we'll be moving forward. I really liked the flow of what we had gone over today, and it's a little bit different than what we typically do because we're usually diving headfirst into this stuff, and we absolutely encourage others to participate with us. We can answer your questions within the video and kind of like talk it out if you wanted us to. Just subscribe if it's something you're interested in, and just personal development, who shouldn't or who wouldn't be interested in something like that and the value that comes along with it.
I'd like to add that this idea, orders of abstracting and semantic responses, I will have ways of talking about it that include that there are orders from low to high orders of abstraction. Each one of these orders has a feeling component that's sometimes called a semantic reaction, but that reaction is really a response, and they happen simultaneously. So that will be something that should grab one's person's interest, that there is a scale that they can go by. I will have specific handouts in the next episode.
Handouts, all that literature, it's on the website. It's linked in the description on the website as well, all of Aldo's art. And yeah, I guess that'll wrap it up. If you have anything closing after this, until then.
I think we've moved through much of what we've been talking about for a long time.
Right, we move pretty quick. But like I said, it's an onboarding process, kind of train stopping at a station. So an opportunity to buy a ticket, take the ride. And
that's good.
We'll see.
I like the metaphor.
Yeah, we'll see you on the next one, guys. Appreciate it.
And visual.
Try searching in the Apple Watch app on your phone.
It's all right. Keep going. That's good.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'll put in a couple more.